أيا طالب العلم قم لا تنم فإن الزمان انقضى وانصرم فكن ما حييت ضنينا به فظنك بالوقت
It was really sad. Like I knew some brothers had good potential, good brothers, very well mannered and well intentioned brothers who just wanted khair, right? How can going to a lesson be bad? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can sitting with kibar al-ulama be bad? But akhi, this is as you said, it's a golden opportunity, and that opportunity needs to be earned. How you're going to earn it is getting the Arabic language so that you can benefit from the sheikh, that you can understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right? Do you get what I mean?
Definitely,
it's if you don't understand.
No, I fully get it.
Yani these brothers, I feel really bad for like some of them, and you see it, akhi. You see that they're the weakest in the class. You know what I mean? You see that they're really struggling, and you see when they leave.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Farhan, subhanAllah, like some of these brothers, like when you speak to them and they say to you, yeah, I'm going to this lesson and that lesson, like I know some for myself, we try to advise them, but it's like they're obviously getting advice from someone else that maybe they really respect, and it's like they're not realizing that, you know, you're not on the same level as someone else. For example, you get brothers, they can't read the Quran at all, they don't know how to pronounce anything, the makharij al-huruf is not good, and then they'll be going to classes when they need to really and truly be, obviously, like, look, I don't know, maybe you can agree with me or not. Let's say someone is at the, you know, the stage where they understand a little bit and they go to like only one class, 1 hour a week, just so that they can kind of help their Arabic in terms of listening and understanding. That's not a problem, isn't it?
No, don't mind that. That's yani, you do have to yani grow your word bank in some way. Yani مثلا I was going to a class from one of the Lebanese mashayikh, a private class of Tafsir ibn Kathir. So basically when everyone else was reading Tafsir ibn Kathir, I was looking at all the words that I didn't understand the Shaykh was saying, and I was writing it down.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Like, I knew my level. I could not read Tafsir ibn Kathir, akhi, mustawa al-awwal, mustawa al-thani. I'm not gonna be able to do that when my Arabic language is like this high, right? And the book is up here. Like, I knew my position. Yani, I needed to go through, and it was like words just were basic words that I just didn't understand what was happening. So I was just using that opportunity to literally just write in my daftar words that I didn't understand. And on the way back from the Sheikh's house to the university, I'd ask one of the older brothers, Akhi, what this word mean? What this word mean? What this word mean? What this word mean? Yani, it was just a constant thing of just building a vocab.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because, you know, you see that a lot of the brothers, their vocab, meaning they could be really, you know, they understand the nahu, you know, the Arabic grammar, they understand it really well, but their vocab is really, really like, they don't have anything, so they can't really speak. And then they, obviously, you know, another thing that I saw, Allah knows best, maybe you may agree with me or not, but a lot of the brothers, when they're outside of the class, maybe it could be, you know, a sense of comfort that they only use the English language, but I see that a lot of them don't mix with other than the English speaking brothers. So obviously their level is not that strong. They don't have a lot of vocab, and they just always speak in the English language, and even in class and outside of class. So did that kind of, were you advised with not doing that yourself though?
Oh, definitely. Yani, one of the first, Sheikh Kamal, yani, subhanallah, again, he comes up. One of the first things he told me was the advice his sheikh told him as he entered the university in 1993 or something like that. And he said, alayka bis sabr, sabr, sabr. Like, he just kept saying, just sabr. That's all you got to do, right? That was the first lesson that he told me. This is what you got to do. You just got to have patience in abundance, right? The second thing he told me, yani, later on, was build your Arabic. And he told me to, because my Arabic was, one of the brothers told me to go into the second mustawa from of the ma'had, but the sheikh actually said, no, go from the beginning and start from scratch, do it properly, and try to not use English as much as you can. That was one of the main things. Yani, try not to only stick around with the Western brothers, and try to really just make your Arabic strong. And that's what, yani, in the ma'had, it is kind of a problem, because there is no Arabs there that you can really benefit from. There are brothers that you're forced to speak Arabic with, right?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? There's brothers that you're forced to speak Arabic with. But subhanallah, it's broken Arabic when you talk to your a brother from Italy, France. I don't know French. I don't know Italian. So you're going to be speaking in Arabic, but it's like broken Arabic. But that builds it.
Yeah.
That builds it. But the main thing was that let's not try to only hang around the Brits and the Americans. But that was the hardest thing. It was almost practically impossible. It's one of the downfalls. It's one of the downfalls of Medina generally, is because there are so many students. You are gonna be sitting with your own friends. You know what I mean? It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why I was told that Jamaat al-Imam and other places like al-Qura maybe will be more beneficial because there'll be less Westerners.
Yeah, that's of course there is less Westerners.
At the end of the day, akhi, it's something that you just gotta cop on the chin and alhamdulillah, you know what I mean? But there are brothers that really did get affected by that. Until now, they're not really well equipped in the Arabic language, and that it really shows they're really struggling, unfortunately.
So, Farhan, with you having said that, do you believe that the Arabic Institute is enough to basically make a student fluent in the Arabic language, or is it something that the student himself needs to put in his work and the university just gives them basically the keys?
Definitely both. The Arabic Institute is only from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Right?
Yeah.
Akhi, you still have from 12 to 10, 11 at night. So the Arabic Institute is amazing. Right? I personally benefited a lot from the Arabic Institute. I'm not going to bag it out. I am able to speak Arabic and read Arabic because of the Arabic Institute, walillah alhamd, and through the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the Arabic Institute is amazing, right? But you still have from 1 o'clock to say 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, say, akhi, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's what the university gives you as well. They give you the Arabic Institute and free time.
Yeah, and you see, I think a lot of brothers kind of don't realize this, and you can get caught up with other things.
100%.
So
that's one of the downfalls of the time you have free is more than the time that you're actually inside of the Arabic Institute. So you can either make the Arabic Institute better with your own studies outside, or you can just focus on whatever you got and just stay at that level. If you do that, then it won't be good for you. If you just stick with the 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever it is of the Arabic Institute, 4 hours, if you just stick with that, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Because obviously, like you said, brothers have come out of the Arabic Institute, gone into the actual faculty, and it's like their level of Arabic is not the level that it should be.
Look, that's probably going to be the case, right? But you can lessen the blow by doing more in that 2 years and focusing on Quran and focusing on the Arabic language. That's what that 2 years should be. But if you're going to, class hop, like a lot of people were doing, not really benefiting either or, a lot of those brothers left.
Yeah. And do you reckon it is actually possible? Because, a lot of people have asked me, hence I'm bringing up this question, like, do you reckon it is possible for a student to come from wherever they're going to come from, go into the Arabic Institute from level 1, stay there for 2 years and benefit in terms of the Arabic language, strengthen the Arabic language and memorize the Quran at the same time?
There are brothers that have done it, akhi. There are brothers that have done it. We know that this is possible, but it needs extreme dedication and it needs discipline. That's what it is.
Do you reckon also, like those that you have around you have some sort of impact?
Of course, akhi. We know from so many ahadith, that the friend is the person. The deen of a friend is found in his friends, right?
Yeah,
so we know that is obviously going to have either a good or a bad influence. I've seen brothers. Just like, let's just be completely honest, brothers that are in the Arabic Institute, and for instance, they have a good Arabic background. Brothers who have studied, for instance, book 1 of Madinah Arabic, right?
Yeah.
I've seen them take it easy during the beginning, right? Because they go, oh, bro, this is too easy, akhi. This is too easy for me, right?
Yeah.
But in the long term, they become they it's just the incline. If you don't start off high, you're not gonna go very high, right? Like these brothers, they didn't do very well later on because they just got into bad habits initially and got into bad crowds initially. So you saw that some brothers were too, really excessively soccer nights, gym nights, restaurant hunting. I was guilty of restaurant hunting as well. I won't lie, akhi. But I wasn't doing the other two as well. You know what I mean? You can't be playing soccer every single night and expect to be waking up for your zurus and to memorize your word of Quran and to do so many different things, right? But there were brothers that were more focused. Like for instance, there were, I'm just going to be blunt. There were brothers, for instance, we had organized a special class for them to get the basics of Nahu at a very basic level, right? For brothers who were in Mustawa al-Awwal, Thani, Thalith of the Ma'had.
Okay.
There were brothers that rejected it because they had to go to the gym. Akhi, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, I got a soccer match, I can't come. You came here for what, akhi? I'm not saying don't have fun. Wallahi, I'm not saying that. But everything has to be proportioned. You came here for this reason. Right? And so I've seen brothers miss classes. I've seen brothers for the leisure life, because Medina gives you two things. It gives you the opportunity to study while giving you free time. Now, you can either use your free time, akhi, or you can not use it well. You can do whatever you want. There's not really that muraqabah unless you have brothers, good brothers. And this is what, alhamdulillah, some of the brothers had. That's like, okay, yallah, bismillah, let's go to the haram. Bismillah, let's go after Asr, not even after Maghrib. Now, let's not after Asr to the haram, right? So if you have a good support system, if you have a good sense of, a good sort of brothers around you, you know what I mean? That really does affect a lot of it. Definitely.
I mean, it's definitely like what you put in is what you get out, right? Especially with something like seeking knowledge, you're only going to get out a little bit if you put in a lot.
It's an investment, akhi. It's an investment. As much as you put in, that's how much you're gonna get out. Inshallah, reap the rewards of what you've got, and that's what the 2 years is supposed to be, right? That 2 years is supposed to be you investing in yourself to equip yourself. That when you go to the kulliyah and the faculty, and inshallah, maybe some of the brothers will go on to further studies. You can really master the subjects you're taking.
SubhanAllah. May Allah accept it from us, akhi. May Allah accept it from us. What I wanted to ask you is, okay, now you've finished, now you've graduated from the Arabic Institute. Let's fast forward a little bit. What made you choose? Wait, actually, sorry, before we get onto that, there was one question I did want to ask you. No, there was something I was going to ask you, because you mentioned the whole, facts about in terms of making sure you put in, and you basically you work hard for the reason why you came out here is to get close to Allah and seek knowledge. But then you find that when brothers actually want to kind of seclude themselves in terms of having their own timetables and not always going out to eat and just maybe meeting once or twice only, you find that sometimes they might find they may get spoken about, or they may have issues with the brothers in the community, and people will be like, actually, why is it that you don't want to meet me, or this, that? So what's your kind of do you have any experiences with this, or do you have any opinions regarding this? Because you have to understand, actually, the reason I'm asking you is because I know a lot of brothers that it's happened to, and it's like because they wanted to do their own kind of, maybe let's say they had their own sort of timetable during the week where they wanted to really be serious, and I don't know, they wanted to achieve things and they had goals. And then only once a week they wanted to meet the brothers, where every single day the brothers wanted to go eat with them. Later on, they kind of had issues because the brothers were kind of saying, he doesn't want to always chill with us and this, that.
Yeah, and it happened one stage where I didn't realize what was happening. Yeah, and I was in a really good program. Like, I'll just tell you initially what happened. Mustawa al-Awwal, for instance.
Yeah.
I was at the university from 10 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock, or 7:30 to before, how it was before. And then after that 12, whatever it was, I'd leave immediately to the haram.
Okay.
And I'd spend from dhuhr till Isha in the masjid.
Okay.
Sometimes I try to make dhuhr in Masjid Nabawi, and this was only the first semester. Don't Allah understand. I overburdened myself. I won't lie. I was doing my qaylula in the masjid, but I actually got physically sick because I was only having one meal a day. I actually did not take proper steps in doing it. I overexerted myself, right?
Okay.
And so I rewarded myself in this with the meal a day with some of the brothers. Right, it was at Akawi's. It was close to the university.
The local one.
The local one, right? It wasn't like going out to the American joints. It was just I had the same meal every single day. The sarukh, the shawarma, and it was the exact same thing with the same brothers, and that went on for a semester. But that meeting never went longer than 50 minutes because the brothers they were hadith on their time as well, right?
Okay.
So they were diligent in their time, and they were diligent with not wasting too much time. It was just let's eat and bounce.
Yeah.
Right. So that was pretty good for me. You do need to meet some people as well because a human being is a social creature in that sense as well. You do need to see people, right?
Yeah.
But
of course.
The brothers that were going on to the American joints and the really good restaurants and stuff like that daily. I don't know how they did it. You know what I mean? One, it's really expensive. The second is the time of it. It's the jalsa goes on for 2-3 hours at times, akhi.
Yeah.
Right? So I actually got caught up in it one time. The first day I got invited to a lunch. Bismillah, it's a one-off. Didn't really think too much about it. Then the second day I got invited to a dessert. You know what I mean? The third day I got invited to something else. And then on the fourth day, I got invited. I was like, actually, no, I can't do this anymore, brothers. Like, I got to study. I got a jadwal. I have a timetable I need to follow. And then they didn't take that. Some brothers took it well, some didn't. Alhamdulillah, qadar Allah ma sha'a fa'al. But sometimes you really have to stop and say nafsi, nafsi. You know what I mean? I'm doing this for me. You just need to get your priorities right. And once it's done, you can't really think twice about it, bro.
I think that's what it is. In a way, you kind of have to be selfish, in terms of, with regards to your time, because obviously it's never going to come back.
And on top of that,
earlier, that people don't realize that when you're here, you hear many stories of brothers that graduate and they're like, "Wallahi, I've wasted so much time," and then they advise you. So when you actually come and you're kind of treading that path, you get caught up with people inviting you left, right, and center. So if you're not really, like you mentioned, diligent with your time, and you're not really someone that's haris, and you really, really are selfish with your time, you're going to end up 4 years just going down the drain of you just literally eating in different restaurants and knowing the people that work in the restaurants.
I won't lie. There are certain restaurants that know me very well in Medina. I will not lie, akhi. But that's 100%. And you have to understand that not every single student in Medina, this is something, Allahu Alam, I don't know if you're going to agree, but not every single student in Medina has the same goals, aspirations, and reasons of being there.
Of course,
there are some brothers that are, نسأل الله السلامة والعافية. I'm not accusing any brother, but we know brothers that are literally only doing it for a degree.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
It's not as prevalent in the West because the degree doesn't amass to much either, right?
Yeah.
But there are brothers that don't really want to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like you do see it.
Yeah.
You do see it. There are brothers that their families force them to go in there, right? It's you can tell because they're the brothers that are usually wasting time on their phones during class. It's sad, but it's they've taken the seat of someone else that could have been more deserving. But it's a test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, either for you or against you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the scary part, subhanAllah, when you think about it, Farhan. Just reminded me that, being accepted there, people sometimes forget that you're going to be asked in the day of judgment that at the end of the day, Allah gave you an opportunity to get close to Him. And this is like one of the easiest ways to kind of learn, and be equipped to the religion.
Yeah,
so if we don't...
I doubt, Allahu Alam, I haven't traveled too far, but I doubt there's a setup like how it is set up there. How easy it is to just bang, go.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Allahu Alam, like, I don't know, and not just, you can go like other places, but it'd be much more difficult, Allahu Alam. and a place that's as pure and pristine in aqidah and manhaj and certain other things as well, I doubt that there's any other place that's as easy as anywhere like the Jama'ah, Medina University, Jamiat al-Imam, Qasim, all these other places as well. We're not only saying that it's only here, but I doubt there's a place like these places. Allahu A'lam.
No, I definitely agree with you. Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah, Allah has favored us. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. May Allah accept it.
Ameen, ya Rabb.
What I did want to get on to next was the faculty now. In terms of you choosing faculty of hadith, what exactly made you choose that faculty?
I won't lie, initially I didn't choose the faculty of hadith. I chose the faculty of da'wah. I even wrote it down. Yani when they give in the fourth semester, they come around and they say, guys, are you ready? They give a list, everyone write it down, and they give you a paper and you fill out the form and you say, I want to go to, this faculty or that faculty. I put down da'wah. And because I was speaking to people, right? Because da'wah, I don't know if you've covered it on the channel or not. The subjects in Kulliyat al-Da'wah are really awesome subjects. You go through the seerah, you go through aqidah, you go through, going through firaq and adyan and just really awesome. And then there's tafsir in there as well. You go through a nice overview of Islam.
Yeah, definitely. Right? It's beautiful.
It's an awesome kulliyah, right? But with the oldies and a lot of people as well, it's seen as, because it's a lot of things is basic. I'm not saying the entire thing is. A lot of things are they're not very advanced in that sense. Allahu A'lam.
Yeah.
It is seen as an easy kulliyah to get to and to flourish. You don't really, it is seen as an easier kulliyah, right? It doesn't have that same level of difficulty that the other kulliyahs like Kulliyat al-Quran and Kulliyat al-Hadith and to some degree Kulliyat Sharia has, right?
Yeah.
So when you, to some of the oldies, and this happened to me, so I asked my father, what kulliyah should I go to? And he said, Hadith is he went through what you do and why it's important to go into Hadith. And I told him that I wanted to go to Dawah, and he didn't deter me. Like, he didn't say, yeah, that's not a great idea or anything like that. He just, you could tell that he wanted me to look into the Hadith possibility, but he didn't shut down the idea of me going into Dawah. Then I went on to the second sheikh, and because it's really important to actually speak to your mashayikh about these decisions, because especially the older mashayikh, because they actually know what you're going to have to do when you get back to your country to do your da'wah, one, or they know what the community needs, two, and they know the problems that the students previously have had. So to speak to the older brothers is essential, right? But the second person I went to after that was...
I agree with you on that.
100%, akhi. You need to talk to the older brothers. But the second person I went to talk to about it was Sheikh Kamal Abu Maryam, and same thing, right? He was going through, they're both two good kulliyas, and I did hadith, and he was giving me, I could sense it, you know what I mean? Like they all love hadith, the oldies, you know what I mean? The ones that graduated from Kulliyat al-Hadith. But when I had put pen down onto paper, I seen another face, akhi. Like, people, I'm getting calls from one of the mashayikh. He's like, hey, did you go there to have a good time, or did you go there to study? And I was like, whoa, where'd that come from, akhi? And then my dad started telling me, like, oh, if you wanted to just go and have a good time and not really, study, you should have told me from before. And I'm thinking, akhi, is it that bad? And then he's like, this is what one of the mashayikh told me. He's like, look around at the students from certain faculties and tell me, what do you want to be like? And I actually then looked at it, and the brothers from certain kulliyas, they had a lot more free time, and they were, a lot more social and a lot more, not all of them, I'm not putting a blanket on it, but I saw that a lot of the brothers from, for instance, Dawah, they did have a lot more free time. and they were the ones going lessons to lessons to lessons, and mashallah, they had a lot of free times, right? And then I saw that and I said that could either be a really good thing or a really bad thing. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I got to think about it. But I didn't have much time because I'd already written Kulit al-Dawah. And then I got a second call from one of the mashayikh, one of the big mashayikh, and he actually just laid down the law, akhi. He was like, akhi, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to Kulit al-Dawah. I'm not going to, a kafir country to study something else. I'm learning basic Islamic studies. Like, what's the problem? He's like, look, the real studies is either in one or two places, and he goes, you come out strong if you go to Kulit al-Hadith. And I was like, now I don't want to live for the next 4 years and keep copying that you're wasting time, this, that. So I was like, you know what, akhi, I'm just going to I went down to, I think it was Abu Saif or one of the old mashayikh of the Ma'had, and I asked him, I was like, I want to change my kulliyah. And then he's like, nah, you can't do it, akhi. I'm so sorry. And then I'm like, Sheikh, please, my dad is on me. You know what I mean? It's not me, akhi. It's my father. It's like, please, Sheikh, you don't understand. And then he's like, what da'wah, what kulliyah did you put? And I said, da'wah. He's like, what's wrong with da'wah? You're going to benefit. You'll study aqidah. He's like, what do you want to go to? And I said, hadith. And then he looked at me and then he's like, all right, do it. And he got my paper out and he let me change it. Jazakallah khair. I think Allahu A'lam, I think he just didn't want me to go to Sharia because everyone had put down Sharia. I think like 80%.
Yeah, I think that's the most.
80% of the class had gone to Sharia, and it was from my batch, from my class. It was just me and another brother. Out of 30 or 40 people, it was just 2 of us that went to Kulit al-Hadith. Hey.
No, sorry, go on.
So once we put down to go into Kulit al-Hadith, after that was pretty much the decision-making process. It wasn't all I won't lie, it wasn't in me. I really wanted to go to da'wah, but alhamdulillah that I made that decision, akhi.
So obviously clearly there's no regrets in terms of
akhi, if I would this is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Alhamdulillah.
Going into, they had saved me from something else, Allahu A'lam, but going into the faculty at that time was exactly what I needed.
Alhamdulillah. One thing I did want to actually just touch upon, obviously you mentioned in terms of the people that are in each kulliyah, in terms of look around, in terms of who's more serious or not. There is a big misconception going around, specifically with the brothers in the West, saying that one kulliyah is better than the other in terms of completely. Do you kind of obviously agree with this, or is it a thing where it's about what a student makes from the kulliyah that he's in and the subjects? Because I personally think that if a person goes into lugha or da'wah or sharia or Quran, if he's serious and he takes, what he's doing seriously, he can come out as a very strong student compared to if someone went into hadith and obviously didn't do anything, kind of wasted their time.
I think Allahu A'lam, I honestly think it's a bit of both. The environment in Kulit al-Hadith, it kind of forces you to be a student of knowledge.
That's without a doubt. Yeah, everyone definitely agrees with that.
If I had gone to, and I was, I don't consider myself as the best student when I was in the Ma'had or even in the Kulliyah, right? But had I gone into, say, Kulit Sharia, I know myself, knowing the attitude of, and the attitude of Kulit Sharia, because there's a lot more, other students. It's easy to fall under the cracks, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to fall under the cracks, and it's easy to, it's the standard isn't that high. You know what I mean? And it's very easy to just kind of just slip under and not really force yourself.
Asalam Aleykum viewers, hopefully inshallah you enjoyed that. That's the end of part 3, and part 4 is coming very soon. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe.